It's actually a lot stronger than you'd think. Alright. That's, seriously though, we gonna have 3 more videos with that joke. That's well, 2 more after this video, but you know, that's only the 3rd time I'm using that joke, and I'm only gonna do that 2 more times, so you know, y'all don't have to struggle with that too much. Now, I have done a stealth archer in Morrowind before. In fact, that was my main playthrough, my main series. In fact, the very first playthrough I ever made on my channel, and is actually where I celebrate, basically how I celebrate my anniversaries, is by the very first release of my very first video, because, well, that's when I actually started YouTube, so it would only make sense to celebrate there instead. Now, of course, when it comes to making a stealth archer, when I did my playthrough, I did a pretty weak stealth archer. In this video, I'm going to show y'all a bit more of a optimized stealth archer, so we can see just how strong stealth archer can actually be, because the stealth archer I set up was pretty strong late game, but you can be a lot stronger early game. Like, you can do a really good early start of stealth archer. Now, to explain a bit on what I'm doing, so agility and luck both affect your hit chance and your stealth a bit. So, you know, it's pretty good for stealth archer because you want to hit your shots more often to basically allow your ammo to be, well, used up more efficiently, because of course if you miss your shots, then that's a waste of ammo, so you don't want to miss your shots. Now, 2 really important skills you want to have would be marksman for archery, and of course sneak, because stealth archer. And of course you want to have stealth as your specialization, so it gets +5 to your sneak and your marksman. Of course, I'm playing as an Imperial and not a Bosmer, simply because I want to show that this optimization can be done with just about any race, and of course, I'm doing Imperials for just about every single thing, because that's just my Professor character. Of course, once I get into Daggerfall and Arena, I'm going to have to start doing Bretons, just for roleplay reason, and Bretons are the closest. Now, I'm going to do something a bit weird. I'm going to take Conjuration as another major skill, and I'll get into why in a second. Basically, we're going to get set up perfectly in Balmora, and this may sound weird, but Speechcraft and Mercantile is really, really good if you're going to be an archer, and honestly, it does make being an Imperial pretty good for it, simply because when you're an archer, you need arrows, and the best way you can get arrows is by buying them. Now, in my minor skills don't matter quite as much. However, I'm going to take Short Blade, because we're going to start with a bound dagger anyways, and I'm going to need enough Short Blade to at least hit my shots. So we'll at least have a 20 Short Blade, and of course, once we summon our bound Short Blade, it'll give us like a 40 skill, so we should be able to easily hit. Now, other than that, Illusion, of course, we could use that to increase our sneaking, you know, turn invisible. However, there's not really too many you need. Like, I could take light armor, but funnily enough, I don't plan on getting hit, so I'm going to take acrobatics so we can jump up onto the high ground, and because if you're on the high ground, enemies cannot hit you. Now, with that said, you would actually want to take Alteration, specifically in Morrowind, so you can take a levitation spell in Balmora and be able to just fly wherever you want to, so you can get out of combat. Now, one last thing. I just have one last thing I can just throw anywhere. Let's see here. I already have Athletics. I guess we could take Alchemy. I'm mostly just going to take that so that way I can show off something, because I am going to do something that technically uses alchemy, but it's not really. I'm just going to have that because it'll show effects for something. I'm going to explain in a second. Now, this here's our stealth archer setup. So, of course, marksman and sneak for stealth archer. Conjuration, I'm going to explain more of that in a second. This is basically the best setup. I'm going to hit OK.
The letter that preceded, you mentioned you
And
were
now,
born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
time to pick our birth sign. Now, of course, Lady is one of the best birth signs in the entire game. However, I'm going to take the warrior sign. The reason why is because the warrior sign gives you plus 10 attack. Now, Fortify Attack is a very unique spell effect that basically increases all of your percentage to attack. So essentially what it does is increase all weapon skills by, well, how many points it is. So when I summon my Bound Dagger with my 20 Short Blade skill, it will boost my Bound Dagger will of course give me Fortified Short Blade 10 points, increasing my Short Blade skill from like what 20 to 30, and then with Warrior that would basically be effectively a 30 up to 40. And of course, something like that would of course affect my marksman skill as well. And since the whole point is staying in the back line and simply shooting my foes, we're going to have to take hit chance. And I'm not going to take dodge chance with thief sign. Now, of course, looking at this, as you can see, our agility is 40, our luck is 50, personality of 50, our willpower is a 30. Oh, Lord. We're going to need to get that up. However, don't worry. We will get something to help that out. So, yeah, we got Professor Fletchedes in the flesh. That's a archer joke. And, yeah, this class looks about perfect. As you can see, we have a short blade skill of 20, marksman skill of 35, sneak skill of 35. That is not the best. As you can see, we're really good at speaking and bartering more than anything, but that's perfectly fine because all of my buffs are going to make up for it. Now, I'm going to need to get some money. That is the most important part. This part here is going to be really important. I'm going to need to get some money. Best way you can get money right early on here in Satanin is actually going to start with a bit of a trend. I'm basically going to do a bit of a fresh start for getting good money. So first you want to steal the limeware platter, drop it on the floor, get false arrested, pick up the limeware platter because they don't care anymore because they false arrested you. And then in this room, everything that is not nailed down, you know, anything that isn't the table, as you can see we can... Okay, so this here's the reason why I have alchemy as a minor. As you can see what effects alcohol has. That's going to be important for later. And now, we can just take just about everything that isn't nailed to the floor. So basically everything except for the table and the chairs and the benches. And I guess the baskets. But we can definitely take what's inside the baskets. As you can see, we have a locked chest with a lock of 1. That luck stat is really good for, really useful for stuff like that, especially our agility. I'm not sure if agility actually affects security that much. I know security is actually governed by intelligence, which I think is interesting. I guess you have to know where the different notches in a lock are to know how to pick it. I guess that makes sense. I'm going to get the tutorial activated for the bed. Because why not? I may as well, since I'm down here robbing this. Collecting all of this equipment that the Imperial Legion has given Professor Fletchedes as finances for his teachings. Yes. You see, they're actually allowing Professor Fletchedes to do his teachings today. Like they're helping him. They're funding him with all of these items that he's going to use. And yeah, as you can see, because I have a conjuration at a 35, I have Bound Dagger as a spell, which has a 83% chance of successfully casting. And of course, Bound Dagger lasts for 60 seconds on self. Now we can go ahead and get our duties. Doesn't really matter. That gives us gold mostly, because we're probably not going to do our duties today. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll probably do our duties today, because it will be fun to help out Hasfat. In fact, I almost forgot. Here, let me drop a save first. Let me delete whatever that bull is. Here, Professor... Oh, here, I'm going to properly set up this save. There we go. Alright. Now, for the most important part of starting off with getting as much gold as possible. Old Thargoth here is missing his ring, but we've just found it. So now,
To what do I owe the honor?
what he just said is that he would speak with his old friend Ariel. So now, Ariel, the real homie here, is basically buttered up because he's going to hear from Thargoth that Professor Fletchedes is actually a pretty chill dude who just gave him his lost ring. So now, as you can see, Ariel has a 90% disposition. Right quick, I'm going to drop another save just to, you know, be ready for this. I'm going to admire spam. And as you can see, that was pretty terrible, so I'm going to load. This is a bit scummy, however, it is what it is.
To what do I owe the pleasure, Cyrodiil?
Alright, tell you what, I'm going to give it another 3 shots. If I can't get Ariel up to 100 disposition within like the first 2 admirers or whatever.
To what do I owe the pleasure, Cyrodiil?
So I'm doing one more shot, and yeah, as you can see, I'm not really getting his disposition all too high there. Yeah, so I'm just going to be fine with him having 90 disposition. 90 disposition is really good. You know, 90 disposition is still very, very potent. Basically, he's going to just have better prices with his 90 disposition. So now, we're going to sell everything except for the package to Caius Cassades. Caius Cassades, however you pronounce it. There are thousands of ways to pronounce everything in Morrowind. Now, with all this stuff being sold, as you can see, that's a bit over what Ariel has. So, I'm just going to make things a bit easier for him. I'm going to buy some arrows. And as you can see, that saved things off. I'm not going to buy the bow, and there's a reason why. I'm just going to have as many arrows as I can carry, and we're going to see if I can get every last septum off of a reel, because I should be able to. There we go. So we just got an easy 800 gold right there, just by essentially robbing a reel blind, because of our insane disposition, and our insane mercantile, and I almost forgot. We can get another easy 300 gold, and we can actually get that enchanted ring back by doing another quest up here. So what you would want to immediately do after talking to Ariel is talk to Hiskar Flatfoot. Tell him you'll look for Thargoth's hiding place. Of course, yeah, of course I've done this little thing before. Like, I think I have a How to Morrowind Xbox edition on my channel, so, you know, like, you could probably skip ahead to a timestamp I'll have to actually being in Balmora with all the gold we need to actually start being a stealth archer. Now, of course, I'm just going to grab these 2 items from these stumps, because we can sell these as well once we speak with Ariel and sell all these things to him again. Now, of course, I'm going to summon my Bound Dagger. So as you can see, we have a 30 short blade now because we have the bound dagger out. So that means, wow, we one-shot a mud crab. And yeah, I can use that summon like a ton of times, just easily. Now I'm just going to steal this lantern, break into this lighthouse, and then I'm just going to sneak up here. And then steal the rest of these lanterns, because I can sell all of this stuff upstairs, because the person down there doesn't care if you're up here. You can also take this book. It's a good skill book, so it'll give you unarmored training, and it sells for 300 septims as a base cost, which is not bad. Then, of course, you'll just jump up to this lighthouse. Then you want to wait until midnight. And of course, doing this quest will also reset Ariel's trade shop no matter what. So now we just sit here and wait. There's Vargoth. Oh yeah, you don't really need to sneak for this quest, but you're basically told to sit up in this lighthouse and make sure Vargoth doesn't see you, and he does walk up to the lighthouse to check, but even if you're not sneaking, he literally will not see you. Like, you can see I am not hidden. The game doesn't have the hidden icon up. I am currently being watched and detected, and Vargoth, he doesn't give two craps. He doesn't give a guar stain. He's just going to walk up here, and of course we just have to figure out where his stash is. And if you try to go to his stash early, he won't put his stuff in. Because of course we just gave him the ring, so of course he's going to stash the ring. Right there. Now the second he walks away is the second you can just... Oh, sorry about the mic. The second he walks away is the second you can just wait again for another 12 hours until it's daylight. And of course he's going to run away. You can just parkour down this tree to avoid fall damage like a boss. And then you can just run over to the stump. Now of course Hisker says you should grab the gold and give it to Hisker. However, because this is Morrowind and not Skyrim or Oblivion, he will not send hired thugs after you or some random NPC to be like, Iska sends his regards, or some crap to collect the... And of course, Vargoth will just sit there sneaking until you reload the area. And since we're friends, he's not questioning me in the slightest, even though I just robbed him blind. And now, we can drop another save. Since we've got some good gold, and we're going to go grab another pretty important item, after we grab some more stuff to sell at least. This whole setup will fetch you around 2,000 gold, which is usually enough to do just about anything in Balmora. And if you need more, you can literally just rob Balmora too, because of all the crates in there. Like, I swear, the freedom in this game is absolutely wild, and just the sheer amount of stuff you can do is just crazy. Alright, so now let's go say hello to the flying wizard. Yeah, as you can see, he's using novice levitation. He doesn't want to talk about it, though. Mostly because he's dead, so we're just going to steal his entire corpse, including the scrolls of Vicarian Flight. We could use those to jump to Balmora, but honestly, I don't care. Alright, and I'm just going to, I guess, rest until healed, just to get our fatigue up, so we can summon our dagger, and of course with maximum fatigue, you can just easily nuke mud crabs. And of course, bound dagger is actually pretty strong, so basically the way bound weapons work, they they act almost like Daedric, like they're literally like 2 tiers below Daedric in sheer quality. Like, the only weapons really stronger than bound is Daedric. So bound weapons are probably the most busted weapons you can start with, because you're not supposed to start with a weapon that does 10 to 20 damage. 10 on a light hit, 20 on a heavy hit. Yeah, and I do have a strength of 40, which what that means is I deal 90% weapon damage. So I'm technically dealing like, like I'm not dealing a full 20 on a fully charged hit. I'm dealing like 18 damage per heavy hit and like 9 damage per light hit. So, not the heaviest amount of damage output, but it's still a lot crazier than just, it's a lot crazier than what you're supposed to be doing. Like, sure, an axe, the iron shard axe from the stump has a max damage of 32, and this weapon does a max damage of 18. However, you can see this is a long sword. An iron long blade. This was on friggin' this was wielded by a weapon, and it was meant to be like the strong weapon. Yet I have a little dagger I summoned just 2 seconds ago that outperforms it in just about every way. So yeah, I'm going to drop another save. So right here is Samari's ancestral tomb. This place just so happens to have an artifact in it, so I'm just going to sneak right in. And we're just going to grab everything along the way. So I'm going to take the Telvanni's Courage. Oh. So yeah, my dagger just unsummoned, but I can just summon another dagger. It's literally not that big of a deal. The only real problem here is I might need something that restores health. Just so I can survive this one trap up here, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Now, as you can see, we have a ghost, but I literally just two-shot the ghost with the bound dagger because it's absolutely broken. And of course, I was able to hit the ghost more efficiently because my skill is higher than what it should be. And then we're just going to head over here, kill the skeleton. What a coincidence! Yeah, skeleton archers are honestly one of the strongest early game enemies you can get. However, they do start with arrows, so yoink. We just got more arrows. Arrows really do have most of the weight, though, when it comes to being an archer. Now, I am going to sit here and I'm going to heal. And then I'm just going to drop a little save here because I'm not sure if we're going to have enough health just to be able to deal with this trap. So I'm going to take this trap here. Oh, we did have enough health. Okay, so that trap does do, wow, 31 damage. Huh. Okay, good to know. So yeah, as long as you have more than 30 health, you can survive this trap. So, start with more than 30 health, I guess. And we're just going to take everything, including the Mentor's Ring. This is going to give us plus 10 to our intelligence and plus 10 to our willpower. So as you can see, our bound dagger has an 81% chance. Now has an 84% chance because our willpower is up. And we have more mana, so more charges, more weapon summons, more everything. And of course with this lock, with this key, I'm just going to open that chest, grab the 2 common items in it. It's just leveled loot. And I'm level 1, so it's level 1 loot, which is literally just going to be common amulets and rings here. And yeah, as you can see, it's currently nighttime because I waited a few times in that tomb. But now it's nice and sunny and everything's happy again. So we can go ahead and go to the next big money exploit. I guess it's not really a money exploit, this is really just I guess it's a cash grab. Is this a bit of a cash grab? Like, is that what you could call this? Just going around grabbing cash? Like, I know it's a bit more of a literal meaning than what cash grab actually means. But, Could you consider this a cash grab? Like, alright, so right over here, you can see that there's a, looks like a Quama Forager, a Scrib, which is friendly, and a rat. So yeah, I gotta kill the rat and the Forager. Leave the Scrib alive, though. And of course, these guys are just basic level 1 enemies. If you know how to play this game, then, you know, these guys can be easily dealt with ease. You know? Now, we're just going to go over here, take the tax records, take the 200 gold, and of course, as you can see from the tax records, you can see that Foreign Gillith has 225 drakes in debt, and he hasn't paid it off yet. He's the only person that has that much to not pay yet, and, you know, there's basically a whole quest here, a whole investigation, and yeah, once you put the pieces together, it's just kind of obvious. Like, this is Morrowind, you know? Anyone who's played Morrowind knows about this quest, and yeah. Going to go ahead and swim over here and say to Neen. We're going to run over here into the Census and Exodus office. I'm going to take the skip around the wall just to make things a bit faster. And we're going to start this IRS quest so we can get a bit more gold. So we're just going to hop this wall here. Hop inside. And then we're just going to... I'm fine, thank you. What can I do for you? I got the murderer here. So, yep, I found 200 gold and Unsepta on his corpse. And he takes the 200 gold, but says if you do this, he'll give you 500 gold. So, you know, you'll get 500 gold instead of the 200 if you
Your papers, please.
go kill Foreign real quick. And then, of course, there's a bit more to do here. Basically, this quest, the way you're supposed to figure it out is, you know, you talk to that guy, he's like, I'll give you 500 gold. You talk to the NPCs, they say that the tax collector's been good friends with the person in the lighthouse. You go there, the person admits that Foreign Gillith got in a fight with this person. And now, you just go up here, tell this guy that there's no excuse for murder. He gets mad, he wants to fight. He's going to throw hands, I'm going to throw dagger. And yeah, as you can see, just bound weapons are broken. But we're not even into the true power of this build yet. So yeah, we're just going to take the precious ring off Foreign Gillith. And we're just going to go ahead and grab. Wow. Wow. That fortifies marksman on your enemy, though. Why? But why, though? Yeah, we're just going to sell those, because, you know, we're a marksman, but that's dumb. Alright. Alright, so now we can just go over here. And if you give the ring to this person, she'll give you 2 healing potions, which usually isn't honor. However, once you give her the ring, you could literally just kill her again to take the ring, because it is an exquisite ring and sells for a lot of gold. So we're just going to go ahead and head here right quick. Tell her about the precious ring. She gives you 2 standard healing potions. Your death, that's what it's regarding. And of course, since she's here in a house by herself, killing her gives you no bounty because there's no witnesses. And you can just take the ring back. And of course, just take everything sitting in this room. Now that she's dead, no one will witness or care. So now we can just take all this stuff to sell. And we can just head right back to... You know, I just realized, with this setup here, I've done a lot of crime just doing this setup, just to get some easy money. And I'm over here doing, like, detective work for this company, you know? I'm just going to steal these lanterns. Like, these people are like, oh, wow, you stopped a criminal. Here's 500 gold. So yeah, you just gave a criminal 500 gold for stopping another criminal. Basically just getting rid of basically I just got rid of competition is all I'm saying. Alright, so yeah, as you can see we have a lot of stuff in our inventory just flooding everything. So we just have a lot of stuff we need to sell and get rid of. So we just need to head right back up to a reel. Yep, whistle all you want. And yeah, this should be enough setup to basically get us all the money we really need to be able to head to Balmora and just get absolutely geared. So I'm going to sell the throwing knives, all this junk. Do you resell arrows? You do not. Okay, well I'm going to not sell you too much then. I guess I'll sell you this, sell you that, sell you this. Keep the potions. I'm just going to take as much gold as I need. And then I guess I'll sell the rest in Balmora. You know, opportunity awaits. Let's see here. Yeah, that should be enough. Now we can just bump this up to 800. Ariel is now wearing Tar Heel's clothing. And we here have 2,500 gold. And that's how you get 2,500 gold right off the bat before you even leave Saint Anin, which isn't really a lot. Like, honestly, in Morrowind's economy, 2,000, you know, it's not really that much. I mean, you saw how quickly I got it. It isn't that much. You know, like, alright, so I'm just going to travel to Balmora.
We make a special trip just for you. Same low price.
And now, here in Balmora, I'm just going to sell the rest of my junk. We're going to join the Mages Guild. And yeah. So we should be able to go into here. In this shop, the pawnbroker. And then I'm just going to sell everything here. I'm going to probably take these arrows, because the only real thing you need to worry about when it comes to being a stealth archer is making sure you buy arrows. You know, I'm going to sell the Scrolls of Vicarian Flight. And here, I'm going to see... Alright, so that has that to work with, so... How much gold can I make? Can I get these arrows? Well, I'm definitely getting these arrows for a bit more than free. I know you won't buy keys, so... Oh, wow. Not bad. Okay. Not taking your entire stock, but not bad. I'm going to take about 640. Is that fair? Yeah, I left you with 60 gold, and you know what? I know you ain't going to buy the key, but I'm going to leave it on your desk. Alright, so you know what? 300 arrows is not bad to start with. I feel like I can use this. Now, we have plenty of gold. I should be able to do some shenanigans here. So, as you can see, we have a current carry weight of 47. And, of course, when we level up, we'll definitely get a good bit more in our carry weight, because you would want to level strength. And there's a good reason for it. I'm going to explain a bit more about what we're going to do here, because we're finally in the Mages Guild here in Balmora. So I'm going to drop a save. And now, we're going to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to join the Mages Guild. Mostly because if you join the Mages Guild, it makes the prices for everything in here cheaper. And all you have to do is just say you join the Mages Guild. You don't have to do any real quests, and they give you free... free scrolls and free stuff to sell or use. And I'm just going to leave it there because I don't really need it. And I'm just going to, I guess, if I rest here for an hour just to... Oh, I can heal. Nice. Yeah, I'm just going to heal, rest for an hour, and then we're going to go to spells here. Is it you, yep. So as you can see, this high elf woman here, Esterdilin, she sells the Bound Longbow spell. Bound Longbow lasts for 60 seconds by default. We're going to see how long we can actually make this last. Now, a really good... Okay, so if I have this last for, say, 3 minutes, that would cost 18 points. It has a 55% chance of being casted successfully. So, you know, not really the best. So I guess we can stay with just a basic 60-second longbow effect, especially considering what we're going to stack this with. And as you can see, Bound Longbow works literally just like Bound Dagger. And of course, just like with Bound Dagger, it's going to boost our stats. So of course, as you can see, we have a marksman of 35. In fact, I'm going to show y'all real quick. So I have a marksman skill of 35. That upped it to 45. As you can see, I'm currently pressing right trigger. I'm not firing my arrows. That's because you have to equip your arrows first. I'm going to equip my iron arrows since they do more damage than Chitin, but I'm going to keep Chitin as a backup. So we have a marksman skill of 45, which is pretty high. You know, that's basically if you had a plus 10. And of course, you got to remember, we have the warrior sign, which boosts our attack by 10 points, which means we effectively have a 55 marksman skill at level 1. So our attack chance is actually pretty far up there. And of course, stealth in Morrowind, it does make it to where whenever you land a sneak attack, it does do a sneak critical. And in Morrowind, all bow shots deal 1.5 times sneak damage, which, you know, isn't really the most. However, every little point counts, and this is 1.5 times on top of the percentile of your strength modifier, of your strength stat, and it's on top of, well, how much damage you actually deal. So, as you can see, a Bound Longbow does 2 to 50 damage. Now, it's 50 damage when you fully pull the string back, because the way this works is the longer you hold a weapon down, the more damage you deal up to its maximum damage. So, basically, a light shot would do jack all, but a heavy shot deals 50 damage. Now, of course, it's only 90% of 50 damage, so it's almost 50 damage. However, if I sneak, then you would, then effectively, if you sneak, then it would be like if I had a bit more strength. Like, I would deal a good bit more damage. Of course, I'm going to have to pull out my calculator and see how much damage we're talking here. See what my true numbers here are. So, of course, we're dealing 90% of 50, so, you know, I shouldn't be able to, here. So, if I take 90, cut that in half. Yeah, so like 45 damage. Not bad. So, if I take 45, multiply that by 1.5, that's another... So 45 up to 67 damage. Well, 67.5 damage. Which, you know, is pretty good. 67 damage at level 1 is not bad. You know, especially as a per hit thing. Now, what I'm going to do right quick is we're going to go visit this side of town. There are 2 merchants over here who are really nice when you're a stealth archer because they sell some pretty good things. The razor hole here has my old buddy, Thoric. Thoric sells silver arrows. Silver arrows do, in fact, a pretty significant amount of damage. He also has a steel crossbow and silver bolts. And of course, he infinite restocks those, which is oh so nice. So if you really want to, you can merchant exploit with Thaler to get as many silver arrows as you want, and just absolutely cheese Thaler, and just get yourself as many silver arrows as you need. You can literally just get, it's literally a duplication glitch with a high enough merchantile. You can straight up just buy arrows, sell them back, and then that would like double his arrow supply, and then you can buy that doubled up arrow supply, and of course you'll instantly restock that doubled up arrow supply, and then sell them back, and you know, just rinse and repeat, and you can just constantly get arrows. Yeah, until you no longer can afford anymore, then you'd have to start to get creative with your merchant exploit. Unless you have, you know, like fortified mercantile. Now, we're here in this little tavern, because in taverns, you have these merchants. Lots of these merchants sell this little thing called Sujama. Sujama boosts your strength, not by like a 20 like Flynn does, but by 50. Now, as I've explained, strength is more percentile based. So a 40 strength is 90%. That's because 50 strength is 100%, and any lower is less percentage by exactly 1-to-1 ratio, and any higher is, well, a higher percentage as a 1-to-1 ratio. So Sujama, every single stack of chugging Sujama you perform gives you an extra 50% damage before the sneak critical for 60 seconds. Bound bow lasts for 60 seconds. And I have 3,000 gold to spend. You can probably see what I'm about to do here. Now, some people may say that combining alcohol and archery is a bit dumb because, you know, alcohol can impede your judgment, make you less likely to hit your target. But, you know, Sujama doesn't impede your agility, it impedes your intelligence. And you don't need to be smart to know how to fletch an arrow, you know? Like, I'm just going to buy, say, a good 5 Sujama, and we're going to see if this merchant restocks. I'm going to buy this Sujama for... Actually, you know what? Here. I just dropped a save. So I'm going to... Oh, okay, I'm going to load. I'm going to drop a load. And we're going to try and get this merchant's dialogue up. You know, we do have a 45 speechcraft, so we should be able to
Tell your friends about this place.
raise this person's disposition, which will make prices a bit better. Ooh, come on, come on. Big whammy, big whammy. I saw you in the 70s. Okay, come on, come on. I know you can do... Oh, man. You see, you were doing good. You were doing good, but you decided you wanted to not. You know? Alright, I'm trying to get her into the 70s so I can actually do some merchant exploit, because merchant exploit's really nice with this.
Tell your friends about
And wow, you hate me. What did I do to you? Like, okay. I mean, all I did was say she had an... Okay. You know what?
our doors are always open.
Let me try this again. Okay, so I got you up to 60. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop a save here. Okay, I got you up to 70. You know, this is a bit scummy, but it gets results. Alright, I got her up to 70. We're going to deal with 70. 70 should give us better prices. And this should work, because I do believe she is a restocking merchant. So as you can see, I just bought that for 100 gold. But now I've just brought it down to 81.
Please have a look around.
As you can see, she restocked the 5 Sujama. I can sell all this Sujama for, I guess, 115. And buy 10 Sujama. And as you can see, I'm about to be making gold a bit along the way, which is going to be allowing us to basically exploit this person. Go. And of course, as long as you leave the dialogue and re-enter, she'll reset her disposition. And as you can see, she kept that 200, she kept that 10 Sujama. So this is what the infinite merchant loot exploit looks like. So as you can see, that's now 20 Sujama. You can go ahead and bring this price down. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this until we get some good results. As you can see, I'm increasing my mercantile skill here a bit. Yeah, 20 Sujama is not bad, but we can definitely do better than that. Oh, we could do a lot better than 20. Pfft, please. Here, let's see here. Alright, 40 Sujama. Oh, she can't even afford that transaction. Okay, so we've just hit the wall, so now we can literally just... Yeah, this is literally just merchant exploit in its finest. So as you can see, that's a large amount of gold. Let's reset disposition. Let's see how far down we can get this. Wow. Here, let's go ahead and make an offer of a flat 1,500. And I'm just going to mercantile exploit. Oh, 1,501. Now we have 80 Sujama. As you can see, 80 Sujama is way too much for us. However, 80 Sujama is definitely very good. So, let's see here. I'm going to have, 40 Sujama actually does seem like it would be a nice, well-rounded number, because that does weigh us down almost enough. However, Sujama is definitely very potent. So I'm going to go ahead and sell 40 Sujama. Wow, she doesn't want to accept good deals, it looks like. I guess she does understand that I'm trying to rob her blind, so I guess it's a bit understandable. However, we can still rob her blind. She's just going to have to deal with it. That's how it is. Now we're going to buy, I guess, to get this 600 back, we're going to buy 45, and then I'm going to sell 45. Ah, look at that. So yeah, we're going to sell, actually, I'm going to sell 40. Looks like I may have found a bit of a trick here. Alright, I'm going to buy 45 again. And then sell another 40. That should bring us up to 50. Sujama. As you can see, she has, wow. Well, she has 311 gold on her person. Tell you what, I'm going to merchant exploits loop for Cyrodiilic Brandy now. And then I'm going to go here. Sell this back to her for like, I don't know, that much gold. And yeah, this should be easy to do. I just have to... Oh. There we go. Yeah, you know, it's just that easy. Just that easy. And now we actually can go down in our prices, so she would actually thank us for such a good deal. And as you can see, we left her at a 72 disposition. We have 50 Sujamma. Yeah, that completely encumbers us about as much as possible. We're completely slowed down. However, since we're a stealth archer and we're going to be sniping people, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. And we'll be chugging Sujamma as we go on our way anyways. So now, I do believe we are ready to give this a bit of a test. And I feel like starting the main quest might be a perfect way to start this test. So we're just going to go ahead and, you know, I'm going to delete that save, drop a true save with Professor Fletchedes. You know, we're just level 1. We're just a basic. No, we're just a basic dude. We aren't even all that strong yet. However, we're definitely strong enough that we could probably take out people. So, I'm going to go ahead and go here to Kai's Cascades. We're going to go ahead and report. And we're going to take in our orders. He's going to give us 200 gold, tell us to do freelance work. We're going to take our orders in. And we now have to speak to Hasfat in the Fighters Guild. And then I'm going to show off just how powerful Stealth Archer is. A drunken Stealth Archer, at least. Alright, and we've slogged our way all the way over here to Hasfat. I took a quick nap over in the other room because, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a favor. He's going to say, hey, go grab this Dwemer puzzle box over in Arkengarten. So we just have to go to Arkengarten and grab the Dwemer puzzle box. And of course, this place is, you know, it's not too far from Balmora. And there are no quest markers, but honestly, it's honestly just, it's not too hard to find, because basically all it is you have to go out of the road, like walk down the road where you would come in if you decided to take the roads from Satanin to Balmora, and you would just head eastward until you see a cross section. You would go up, and then you'd see a Dwemer bridge to your right. Now, that Dwemer bridge is actually going to be a good test to see just how strong Fletchedes is compared to Leo Raz. So, let's meet there. Alright, and we have arrived here at the bridge. And of course, I decided to wait until daylight so you could see a bit better. And funnily enough, here in Morrowind, daylight literally doesn't, like, lighting does not affect stealth at all. It doesn't matter if it's bright as, well, day, or literally just dark as night. Enemies will still see you or not see you just based off of your stealth skill and how far away you are. Now, time for the real fun and the real setup. So right ahead of us is Snowy Granius, essentially the skill check of Morrowind to see if your build is actually strong enough for Morrowind, because if it isn't, then Snowy Granius will whoop your butt and basically tell you to get good, son. He is the Margit of the bridge, only many years before Elden Ring. Like, I swear, if I had a septum for every time I fought a skill check on a bridge, I would have 2 septums, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. Now, what I'm going to do here for this setup is I'm going to first summon my bow. Now, this bow is going to be out for 60 seconds. I'm going to unequip Mentor's Ring. There's a reason for that. So now, my intelligence is no longer being fortified. Because once I drink this Sujama, it's going to drain my intelligence. And if I have a fortified effect active as I drain that effect, then when that drain effect ends, the fortification basically acts as a buffer rather than a fortifier. So my intelligence would be stuck at 40 with Mentor's Ring on, and if I unequip Mentor's Ring, then my intelligence would be damaged by 10 points. So, now, for Hasfat, or not Hasfat, Snowy Granius, I'm going to drink 5 Sujama. So my strength is now 290. So with a 290 strength, so that is a good bit past 50. So here, let me do some good goal calculations here. So 290 minus 50 is going to be, so we're looking at, so that would be 340% damage. So that would straight up just be added onto this. So 50, 340% of 50. So wow, this is going to be ridiculous to try and keep up. So that would be times what, like 3.4? So that would be a 3.4 multiplier. So my bow currently, without sneaking, does a grand total of 170 base damage on a power attack, which is a lot more than 50. Now we're just going to times that by 1.5 from our sneak attack damage, and that brings it up to 255. And that was just drinking 5 Sujama. So now, let's see how many hits it takes to kill Snowy Granius. Honestly, I feel like I'm a living railgun at this point, with that much damage this early on. I'm not sure if he's going to survive. Now, with the way archery works, the crosshair is a bit off. You do want to aim slightly to the right of your crosshair. So now I'm aiming directly at Snowy Granius based off of where my crosshair is. Okay, so maybe I was a little off. Let's try directly on. So as you can see, I just one-shot the skill check of this bridge, and I'm level 1. So Stealth Archer is pretty overpowered. That's a bit of a callback. I actually have a short that I made because of that. So, you know, that's a bit of a callback there. So I'm level 1, and I just one-shot this guy. Oh, and my bow and arrow just wore off. And my Drain Intelligence effect just wore off, as well as my Fortified Strength. So now I have a 39 out of 40 Intelligence. Am I missing something? Okay, I don't know what just happened there. I should have more here. Maybe doing that would... No. Okay, so I don't know what just permanently damaged my intelligence. But as you can see, re-equipping Mentor's Ring now is perfectly fine. And, yeah. So, as you can see, my weights just went back down. Every time you drink Sujama, by the way weight system works is it's 5 times your strength. So every Sujama bottle that you chug grants you an additional 250 pounds you can carry. So yeah, it's really good to have Sujama around just to increase how much you can carry, just to loot places like, I don't know, this Dwemer dungeon, which is going to have a lot of good loot in it. Now I'm just going to make my way inside. Alright, so Alright, and I am currently in the dungeon where I'm supposed to find the Dwemer puzzle box. And as you can see, it's pretty dark. Of course, you would want to have, like, Night Eye in Morrowind, unless you, you know, mess with your gamma settings or whatever. Because these dungeons are pretty dark, and it's hard to actually see what you're doing in here. And as you can see, we have a couple of people down here, and I mean, that Sujamma was, like, what? It was actually getting me money, if anything, because, yeah, I started with 3,000 gold buying this Sujamma, and now I have 3,700. So I actually earned gold getting this Sujamma, and I'm not really using all that much. I mean, 5 Sujamma is probably all you really need. Like, if I really wanted to, I could chug as much Sujamma as I need, or as much Sujamma as I want, and really just absolutely obliterate any enemy in my sight. And funnily enough, is I'm not even adding arrow damage, because arrow damage is still added on top of bow damage, it's just not quite as much as bow damage, like in the slightest. So as you can see, I have 2 bandits down here. Oh, and another thing, y'all probably didn't notice it, but I didn't really rest to get my mana back. And as you can see, I basically got all my mana back. That's because when Drain Intelligence wears off, if you drain your intelligence all the way to 0 and it wears off, it actually, like, resets your mana. Because 0 out of 0 mana is 100% mana, funnily enough. So, this bar is like a percentage, and it'll always stay as a percentage no matter how your mana system is set up. Like, it's hard to really explain. There's a lot of crazy math in this game. However, as you can see, if I can properly hit this person, I swear. Okay, I don't know what I'm hitting, but apparently it's not this bandit here. That's the one downside to marksman in this game, is it's really hard to tell if you're hitting your target. And that's why mercantile is actually pretty powerful for archers. And you do want to stay still when you're firing your shots, because movements do mess with your arrow trajectory. Okay, is it to the left of the arrow? Nope, is it to the right? Well, that effect wore off. Okay. Well, I just wasted a bunch of arrows trying to hit this guy. That sucks. Here, let me get more onto his level. Maybe I can hit him from this angle. So here, I guess really doesn't matter if you have Mentor's Ring equipped or not. Here, that should give me plenty of strength. Yeah, as you can see, I just one-shot him. And funnily enough, higher strength. Okay, maybe it's just arrow drop-off I'm not counting for. Hang on, what if I aim here? Yeah, you see, this is why I like playing Khajiit, because if I was a Khajiit, I would literally be able to just look in this area with Night Eye and be able to see all these bandits in their proper outlines and not just silhouettes. Now, I'm going to go into this area, and this is where we have Boss Crito. Boss Crito is like the final boss of this dungeon, and wow, I just increased. Oh, as you can see, Boss Crito is about to attack me, and Boss Crito might actually. Oh, never mind. Well, I actually took out Boss Crito before he could take me out. That was very fortunate. And I'm still level 1, by the way. And he actually gave me a lot of XP doing that. That's funny. So yeah, let's rest up. Yeah, as you can see, I didn't really use that much Sujamma. and I absolutely wiped out this entire dungeon. So yeah, Drunken Stealth Archer. Morrowind Stealth Archer is a bit busted, though honestly, it's more of a Sujamma problem than an actual Stealth Archer problem, because Sujamma also works on literally every weapon. So I don't know if I want to go find other bandits and use my dagger to show, but basically the exploit with Sujamma also works on all martial weapons. So if I were to actually pull out my dagger here, and then, I guess, chug 5 Sujamma. There's a bandit up here, so I'm just going to run in. And with one stab, I should be able to just take this person out and show just how much damage you actually deal, because you deal significant amounts of damage with boosted Sujamma. Like, it's not just bow and arrow, it's literally... Yeah, as you can see, I just one-shot that guy with a dagger. A dagger that supposedly does only 20 damage. Well, I say only 20 damage, like that's not crazy. Yeah. So this setup is broken. And honestly, if you were expecting me to make this video as more of a what kind of build should you set up, I would honestly say I would not play as this build as a first experience in Morrowind, because this build would definitely ruin your experience of Morrowind, since you literally would have no challenge. There would be no challenge, no real enjoyment in the sense of failure, because you won't lose ever in any fight, because there'd be no fight you couldn't just beat by just drinking enough Sujamma and sitting in the back lines and just shooting at someone, because the multipliers on Stealth Archer in Morrowind is significantly low. It's the lowest it's the lowest in the entire series, really. However, you still break the game. I mean, seriously, I'm still a level 1 dude. I didn't even put on any armor. I knew I was that confident that I didn't even bother with armor. I was that confident in my abilities as a stealth archer. So, yeah. And of course, I didn't even bother with alteration either. And you know what? I'm not even going to finish up the main quest, because I feel like it's a fun little trend just to sit here in a bandit dungeon that I either clear, terrorize, or whatever, and just wrap things up, tell you my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on being a stealth archer here. It is absolutely broken. Like it is absolutely broken in Morrowind. Like, it's funny, because people think Stealth Archer in Morrowind is, like, at its weakest, and to an extent it is. Because you don't really have that many multipliers with actual stealth, but considering the fact that it's literally just a martial weapon type, and you can fortify your strength to fortify how much damage you just do with your bow and arrow, and you can do it infinitely, and Sujamma just gives you plus 50 strength every time you chug one. Like, I think Sujamma was literally designed specifically for axe users or barbarian type characters, but Bethesda kind of just forgot that they made strength affect literally every single weapon type, so it's literally just the go-to. So yeah, Marksman with Sujamma absolutely breaks the game system, absolutely breaks combat, especially since the strongest part of Stealth Archer, and honestly the reason why Stealth Archer is almost always overpowered in any game, is the fact that you can do all this fortification stuff while not having to engage your enemy. You don't have to engage your enemy. Ever. You can literally just sit in the back and just shoot your arrows. Like, seriously, there's no reason why you'd ever want to do anything other than just sit in the back and shoot your arrows. I guess if you were I guess if you were like a marshal that actually used melee, then yeah, you'd run in. But yeah, you know, they're like this game just you just turn into a railgun here. Like in Skyrim, there were perks that are powerful for it. In Oblivion, you can shoot arrows with poison on it. But in Skyrim, this is all you have to do. This is all you have to do and you win every fight. And the mercantile system is so broken that there's literally no reason why you wouldn't want this much strength. Which, mind you, well, that's the only caveat, is if you drink your Sujamma before you summon your bow, then you're basically screwed. You don't fortify your bow damage anymore. But yeah, this is exactly like, and there's no reason why you wouldn't want to do that for archery. Alright, I guess enough ranting aside, I should give my true final thoughts. So, stealth archery in Morrowind is absolutely broken. I would argue it's actually the most broken in Morrowind, but it's mostly because Morrowind's actual system itself is broken, because there are so many exploits, and stealth archery is only one of the simplest exploits. Like, there are so many exploits in this game, it's ridiculous. And alcohol archery, that's what I'm going to call this. Drunken marksman. That's what it is. It's drunken marksman. You know, like a drunken monk build, but no, this is drunken marksman. You just drink alcohol and get so drunk that your arrows act as railguns and you can just one-shot anyone. You could probably one-shot Dagoth with an arrow. And you don't even need like a black arrow. And the funniest part, one thing I didn't really mention yet, is strength does actually damage your weapons, but if you decide to use bound weapons, not only do bound weapons do some of the best damage in this game and scale with strength the most out of any starting weapon, but you can summon as many as you want doing this build setup. And like, bound weapons do take durability, like they do have durability, so as you use your bound weapon, you'll damage your bound weapon. But once you break it, you can just summon another one and start again with maximum durability at the cost of mana, which you can restore by drinking Sujamma right after you summon your weapon. This build is absolutely busted. And in Morrowind, stealth archery is possibly the most broken in Morrowind. So anyways, that's enough ranting. I would not give stealth archery a shot in Morrowind if you're starting off, because you will not have fun. I would actually try a mage build or a melee build just to get used to the controls. Maybe do a marksman build that doesn't do all the crazy starting shenanigans I did by, well, using Sujamma and then a bound bow right away. You know, try to have fun with the game. And I mean, if you really want to do what you see in this video, and you want to have fun that way, then go for it. Well, anyways, I think that's going to be the end for this. I'm going to have to do Daggerfall next week. So yeah, this has been your bro Frostfruit, and I think I'm going to have to catch you on the next one. Later!
Thank you.